Hello guys, Dr. Carrie the Chiro here again. I am reviewing a product that I feel like has worked really well on the nervous system of a number of people in my practice. So this product here is called the Rezzimax Pain Tuner. And I'm sure by the name, you've figured out that it was originally designed for pain. So this was designed by I want to say a physical therapist in the USA, and it was designed for muscle pain, migraines, face pain, etc. So you can see it's kind of like a bit of a quirky design, but what he's actually done is designed it so that every part of this device can be used. So this part can go in the mouth or specifically on a pain point, maybe a trigger point. These bits can kind of scrape your muscle, so a bit more of a global effect. Even the base can be used, say, on the belly. So today I want to talk to you about how it actually works. Sorry, it's a bit blurry on the camera. There we go. Still blurry. How it works on the nervous system. So the concept behind the Rezzimax is it vibrates. Now, the difference between the Rezzimax and other vibrating things is that the Rezzimax vibrates at a circular frequency. So the motors rotate the device round and round. So when it's on your body, it's kind of a circular rotation as opposed to a linear rotation, which is vibration, which is up and down. So like a thumping. And this is thought to be much better suited to the nervous system and the little receptors in our body that detect movement. And the reason for this is if you consider movement and you consider like a linear up and down, then that's stimulating those little receptors, the movement receptors or proprioceptors, in a very limited way. But circular means that you kind of stimulate them not only up and down, but side to side as well, even diagonals, so you get a much wider stimulation using the Rezzimax. And that's probably the biggest difference. So what it has is a couple of settings. So you turn it on and you'll see a color. You can change those settings. So there's blue, green, red, and like a teal. The bluey greeny colors are down regulating the stress response. So they're designed to soothe the nervous system via sensory input. The red is designed to upregulate the stress response or activate the nervous system. And it does that again through the frequency and size of the vibration. So why I love the Rezzimax is because I was using it in the practice only for primitive reflex integration, which is something that I do with a lot of children and adults in my practice. And I wasn't using it to its fullest. And then I went to a Rezzimax conference where she talked all about how it stimulates the nervous system. And it just made so much sense to me. So let me get my thoughts for a second. So if you're using, say, any other vagus nerve stimulating device or a nervous system device, and you're finding it's either too much for your system or it's not doing anything, what I love about the Rezzimax is you can pretty much start at your feet and see how you go. So rather than working on directly stimulating your vagus nerve, which for some people does not work, then what this does is it alters the sensory input into your body, and it either tells your body in a physical sense you are safe or we need to activate you based on the settings that you choose. So it gives you another opportunity to work with your nervous system without going straight for the vagus nerve. And this is really important because something that I talk about a lot is your vagus nerve has to be ready, willing, and able to upregulate. You can stimulate it all you like. If it is not ready, willing, and able to do so, then you're not going to get results and you may feel worse. So the Rezzimax is a great way to get the effect of creating physical safety through the senses, which allows the vagus nerve to innately turn on. Because the vagus nerve only works when it is safe to do so. If there is a perceived threat, it won't want to turn on. So then you're kind of flogging a dead horse, so to speak. I don't know if that's an Aussie slang or that's a worldwide slang, but it basically means you're just not going to see the change that you want to see. So that's the positives about this. Now, when you buy a Rezzimax, I'm not going to go through the protocols. If you find this video and this is the first you've heard of a Rezzimax, I encourage you to do some more research on YouTube. Heaps and heaps of videos of different protocols you can do with your nervous system. There's one called the total de-stress. There is one called the vagus nerve stimulation. And then there are others. Now, the one that works for your nervous system is going to be different to the one that works for any other nervous system, right? So you have to kind of have a play with it and see what feels best for you. And that's why I don't recommend any specific protocol for like vagus nerve stimulation, right? Because it might be for you that you actually need the one that starts in the feet and the legs rather than directly over the vagus nerve. So if you get your hands on one, have a go of a couple of the different protocols and see how you go. They do have other attachments that come with it that go on the end here. So there's a mouth attachment that you put in your mouth, that as well as some eye exercises, doing that at the same time stimulates pretty much all of your cranial nerves, which can really downregulate the stress response because you're telling the brain, hey, here's where my face and my body is in space. This is what my nerves are doing. This is what my nerves are picking up. And the nervous system can go, oh, thanks. That was great. So that can feel really nice to the right nervous system. Again, it might be too much for other people. There's also like a stress ball in the shape of a brain you can put on here. You can use that, I'll say on your belly for like abdominal stuff, dorsal vagal stuff. Under the diaphragm is your dorsal vagus branch to stimulate that. So any freeze response, if you feel like you're stuck in chronic fatigue, etc., then sometimes working on the dorsal vagal may help. It's also a really gentle one to use with babies and kids. So the other beautiful thing about this is it's family, like you can use it on the whole family. So when you turn it on, it kind of starts on the lowest vibration, but you can put it up, 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 up. Like, so you can do it based on, say you have a really sensitive nervous system, and your child does too, but your partner has a really like robust nervous system and they need it much higher than what you do. You have that opportunity to do that. It's not a one size fits all. And that's the same as, say, if you have a child who has some sensory stuff, say maybe they're a sensory seeker, they might like the vibration frequency and strength really high because that actually gives them that nervous system input that maybe the more gentle one doesn't give them. Perhaps their nervous system is a bit dysregulated and they don't even really feel the more gentle ones. So you can have a play with it, but you can use it from birth till you're on your deathbed, basically. Like you can use it for every age and every stage. You just have to adapt how you're using it. The lady who in Australia distributes the Rezzimax also recommends you can even use it like inside a teddy for a baby, just next to the baby in the cot, can help soothe their nervous system to sleep. So beautiful, so many uses. So that's kind of all the positives about it. It's probably one of my most favorite tools to use in the practice. Now, if you're in Australia and you want to buy one, the lady Tanya who distributes in Australia also gives you a free 40-minute consult to help you work out, understand how it works for you and work out some protocols that will help you specifically. And I love that. Now, that's kind of, all the positives. I do want to talk about a couple of negatives just so we're covering both sides. Number one, I feel like the battery runs out very quickly. Sometimes I have it fully charged, and even if I don't really use it much in practice that week, I find when I come back to it, it has died. So it must have some like low grade constant on function. And so I do find that a bit frustrating. It's not the end of the world. You just have to remember to charge it. But sometimes I go to use it and I'm like, oh, I haven't even used it that much. But yeah, it must just slowly burn through that charge. The other downfall is it's not as cheap as some of the other things I've reviewed. And so I've been hesitant to share because I know people who need this often they've been chasing something that's going to help their nervous system for so long, and perhaps they're not living their most optimal life at the moment. And so, included in that is a lower income. So I feel really conscious about sharing products that are more expensive. However, so this one is on the more expensive side, but as I say, it is really something you can use with the whole family. So if you do have a family, it is, I think it's beneficial. And even if you don't, if you can get your hands on one to try one, if you have a friend, colleague, chiropractor, physical therapist in your area who would let you use it and trial it before you buy, I would highly recommend you do that. And the other thing is, there is too much of a good thing, right? When I first got it, I went hard with it on my nervous system, and it actually made me significantly worse. So you can do too much of anything that's good. So I do recommend starting slow and building up. I do have a very sensitive nervous system, which is why I got into all this stuff in the first place. But you don't want to go in, you don't want to go all in, particularly like up in the neck area and then feel worse. I would recommend starting as far away from the neck and brain as possible and working your way up the body, and just recognizing your tolerance and what's happening in your nervous system as you do that. So you do have to have a play around with it, but less is more. Please, less is more, particularly if you're sensitive. And that goes for your kids too. You know, they're very responsive, but too much might send them over the edge. And if you're looking for something that's going to help your child regulate their nervous system or down-regulate their stress response, I know that you don't want to do anything that's going to disrupt that or do the opposite. So, but yes, as I say, if you're in Australia and you buy it, you do get that 40-minute consult. So you can go through all of that and have a bit more of a clear plan. Certainly something I wish I had when I bought it. It wasn't available to me when I bought it. This is a new thing with a new person who's distributing it now, and I just think it's a beautiful offer. So I do have a discount code for anyone who would like to try one. I'm going to put it down in the comments in the caption for you. And if you have any questions about the Rezzimax, I would love to hear them. Happy to answer them. If I can't answer them, I now have direct contact with the distributor who will be able to answer them for you. Okay, bye.